Welcome to Becoming is Messy, where we dive deep into the journey of survival, transformation, and everything in between. I'm your host, Meghann Dawson, here to share the honest, unfiltered stories behind my own process of becoming. Life isn't a pretty and perfect straight line, and neither is becoming the person we're meant to be. Here, we embrace the ups, the downs, all the beautiful, chaotic, messy moments that shape who we are. Whether you're in the thick of change or reflecting on past transformations, this space is for real conversations about what it means to grow, stumble, and rise again. So get comfy, settle in, and let's get messy. Today's guest is the radiant Rhonda Farrah, a woman who calls herself a lifestyle empowerment alchemist. With decades of experience as a psychotherapist, spiritual teacher, and empowerment coach, Rhonda has helped women across the globe turn their pain into purpose using her Fix Your Reflection First philosophy. Rhonda is the real deal, equal parts heart, humor, and hard-earned wisdom. From navigating breast cancer to walking through divorce, she brings radical honesty and soulful guidance to every conversation. Her message is simple, powerful, and deeply aligned with what we believe here on Becoming is Messy. The healing you're seeking won't come from chasing likes or outside validation. It begins with learning to look inward, with love, with courage, and with compassion. If you've been wondering how to move forward when life feels messy or how to reclaim your joy and power after loss, this conversation is going to land right in your heart. Rhonda, welcome to Becoming is Messy. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Meghann. I am excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you as well as your listeners.
Oh, thank you so much. I'd love for you to just help us set the stage for our chat today. How would you describe this current season of your life?
Whoa, just another growing where I am planted season. I am in the process of my own memoirs as well.
Mm,
The working title of those memoirs is Growing Where I Am Planted, My Journey in Consciousness to Transformation. So I am in another growing where I am planted situation. In all my messes that get turned into messages, I was either laughing or crying. I'm going to tell you about my messages. I'm not squeamish at all. And I have come to realize that when we are crying or when we are laughing, we are growing. And I'll give you some tips about that. You mentioned I was a psychotherapist. I took that hat off in 2005 and became the alchemist, coach, speaker, and writer. I took that hat off because in 2005, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I thought, wow, I'm an avid runner and everything else. And it's like, well, how is this happening to me? And that was happening as a send off from my first mess. And this is why I became an alchemist, because I am dedicated to helping people identify and use the power within them, the authentic power within them, the power to thrive and not merely survive. And that's how we help others. That's how we are
that's
in
right.
service of others. My strength is my vulnerability.
That's right.
Okay.
It's so,
I didn't have that before. I branded my brand now became Fix Your Reflection First and Live Your Best Life Ever. And I'm no
yeah,
stranger to mirror work with clients, with audiences, or with
yeah,
myself. But boy, did I get serious 4 years ago. And I look in that mirror, I'm looking in it right now. And I, as many times over the last 30 years that I'd look in the mirror and say, "Oh God, you're lovable. You're just the way you are." I go, see my reflection in a pane of glass. Oh, you are
yes.
so beautiful and everything else. Did I really believe it?
Yeah.
Probably not, because I was spiraling
Mm,
from one mess after another. And that's why I became an alchemist, because it takes the adversity, it takes the sorrow, as well as the joy
yeah.
to be the best version of ourself, self with a capital S. So my first mess I spent some time in a women's federal prison camp over 6 years. In 1998, I saw
Yeah.
these terrible words on a federal indictment and it said United States of America versus Rhonda Farrah.
Oh my.
I mean, I didn't like it, but what got me through that was I found myself, I was beginning
Mm.
to peel the onion skin away. And I always say, I was raised a Catholic, rebaptized a Christian in prison, and I honor all paths to God. I'm extremely spiritual. I start the morning with a spiritual practice, with my own mirror work, with everything in between. And I needed that major timeout because whether you call it universe, divine, spirit, I call it God because of my upbringing. God was trying to get my attention, little
Hmm.
pebbles, then a two
Yes.
by four, and
That's
finally the brick.
right.
The brick came.
Yes.
And
That's
this
right.
is what God was saying. I don't understand. I don't understand this woman. I've been trying to get this bitch's
Yeah.
attention. And
Yeah.
it
He said this.
major time out where I was gonna find myself
That's
and
right.
help
Yes.
help others.
Yeah.
So I pivoted from my background was in psychotherapy and it was in coaching as well, but I was also in this finance stuff.
Mm.
And that's what landed me in the Husko. Okay. And it
Hmm.
wasn't bars
Yes.
or anything. It was a federal
Yeah.
prison
Yeah.
camp in California.
Yeah.
And but after about a year of banging the phone against the wall saying, "Get me out of here," to either a lawyer, my family members, this I surrendered.
Mm. Oh,
I did,
that's such a good
aha.
word.
There's
Yes.
the aha breath. That's my
Yeah.
confirming breath. I went, oh well, aha, and hung
Yeah.
up the phone. That's when I was pivoted in being of service to all the women that were surrounding me and was
Mm.
teaching wellness classes. And
Ah,
it was like, okay. And I missed 7 of my own birthdays as well as my daughter's.
of course.
All the holidays, 7 of them. But I had a new family now. I found the gift and the blessing. And this is how, when someone says, how do you fix your reflection first? And I say, no matter what shit you happen to be in, find the gift and find the blessing because it's there.
Yes.
It is there. And I mean, I did gratefully. I
Yeah.
wrote a lot. I
Yep.
spoke to women inmates. I helped them with whatever they needed help with. That is the first part of what I'm writing, and then it's continued to segue other messes. But that experience and going within prepared me for what was to come, some other messes.
Of course, yes. I always say now it's life's going to have up and downs. You were talking in the beginning about the laughter and crying and what comes in those moments. And I've just come to believe in the balance of life and that there's going to be an equal amount of good as there is bad. And so I look at my life now, there's been extreme lows, and that's what I'm hearing in yours as well. I think the highs are then the polar opposite. So there's room for such extreme highs when you've had those moments. I
Oh,
do think, though, the choice of surrender, if you could just bring us to that shift that happened to you. You mentioned that was within that first mess, was when you decided to just, after fighting it for a year, you decided to surrender. How did that look for you at first? What did it mean to you to just accept it and surrender?
I was calm about it,
Yeah.
grateful that I wasn't going to have to hit the phone on the wall anymore with whoever
Yeah.
I was talking to on a monitored conversation and otherwise. And once that happened, the onion skin began to peel away.
Hmm.
And that's when opportunities for me to teach. I was pivoted right back into the world I was supposed to be in, not the world of high finance and whatever landed me in the East Coast.
Yes.
It was being of service to others. And I truly believe we are all here to be of service.
I agree.
And then I said, okay, my subconscious mind took over and said, I think I'll be of service to me first. And what do I want to do? I've been a runner for over 50 years, just about. I'll be 67 next month in a couple weeks, and I jog now.
Yes,
because
good for
after
you.
50 years of running, it's like there are a few aches and pains here. But I was gifted. I always had a track to run on.
Mhm.
I always had some kind of, even if it was antiquated equipment, to do strength training. And then I started helping other women with their diet. I helped them to understand this was a gift. You're not going to get in shape. You're mentally, emotionally, physically when you go home. You're going to have to take care of life. This is a gift, and we're all in it together. You're going to have to pay your rent. You're going to have to watch your kids. You're going to, get a job. So I was fortunate enough to realize, again, my subconscious mind working that this is a gift. So what do I want to do about it? Because I also believe, and I've had audiences and clients just look at me and say, "You're nuts. You
Yeah.
called all forward, the prison,
Yeah.
the breast cancer, simultaneous
Yeah.
divorces, responsibility for that because there were lessons I had to learn."
That's right.
So in that first mess with prison, I could have been a victim. I just, oh,
That's
poor me. I wish I was
that's right.
home and this, that. I could be doing so much more. I said, no. And that segued me again into helping others help themselves.
And then how
Because,
did you carry that forward after prison? So you mentioned that you had built relationships in prison with about that transition and how hard it was going to be when reality in life came to be again. How
yeah.
was that for you?
Well, for me, beginning with myself,
Of
God
course.
was saying, no, I have more curriculum here for
Mhm.
you. I knew 11 months before my release, which was delayed, that I had a lump on my breast. I did nothing about it other than affirm, prayer. I don't know, the eucalyptus tea, whether that worked or not, I'm not sure, but I just said, no, I have seen too much here. I got to get home. I got home in 2005 and went to my own doctors. And sure enough, in Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October, I was diagnosed with nearly a stage 3 breast cancer.
Wow. Oh, gosh. And you had just gotten out in
Right
that.
out.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so, of course, my daughter said, when are we going to get a break? I We're going to have a break. And I'm not a doctor person. Okay. I'm not, I'm healthy. I take some supplements, never smoked, still exercise, eat really well. And I just said, when am I going to get a break? I don't want to have surgery. I don't want to have this and that and the other thing. And a friend of mine who worked at a Trader Joe's brought me home a card with a guy's name on it, medical qigong. And I said, no, this is the answer. Oh, Western medicine. No, not for
Yeah.
me. And I had the best doctors, Western. And it
Yes.
was like, okay, call this guy, go for a medical qigong session or 5 or 6, and a lot of prayer, a lot of chanting. And he said, go back and see your oncologist and get a ultrasound.
Mhm.
Western medicine, he said to me, is the best diagnostic tools that we have. I went and saw her. My daughter was with me, and my oncologist said, she said, I don't know what you're doing, Rhonda, but you're shrinking your tumor. Music to my ears. My daughter, she looked at the oncologist and she said, are you buying this shit too? I knew then that I got
Yes.
to stop being afraid of these things that I operate in faith. I don't operate in fear because now
Yeah.
I say faith says even if. Fear says, oh, what if?
That's right. That's so true.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I knew I had that power within me to shrink a tumor. But I opted, okay, gotta go get chemo. I did 5 months. Gift and a blessing. I was still running. I had a window for vacuuming and for running, and then I slept a lot. It was a gift and it was a blessing. And I took it, had some margins cleaned out, events that happened within that whole arena. I'm laying on a gurney in the surgical center waiting. and I'm talking to God. I'm looking out the window. It's a beautiful day in Monterey, California. I got the best breast guy, they called him, ever coming for me. And who would be my nurse? She came over to me and she said, "Do you need something?" And I go, "No, I was just having a little conversation with God." And I was asking for a sign that I would be all right. And she came over and she goes, "Oh, look, your hair's growing back." And she pulled back her skull cap and she said, "Maybe your hair will grow back like mine did early."
Oh, wow. Oh,
Here was a woman, went through the same
yeah.
thing, and she was put in that
Wow.
situation so she could help me and others by just saying that was my sign. I wasn't afraid to use the God word, and it was like, I got it.
Wow.
All right, 35 bouts of radiation after that. And after radiation, cancer people ring the bell. I've got to ring the bell. And in 2006, the end of March
Wow.
2006, I was cancer free. Thank
Congratulations.
God. And
That bell, I have a video of my grandfather ringing that
do you
bell after his treatments for lung cancer, and that is a special thing to be able to witness that. Do you have a perspective from a spiritual lens? Thinking of your daughter saying, "Are we ever going to get a break to go right from prison and then not even get to heal from that experience and already then have to be facing breast cancer?" Some of us, you just can't make up the twists and turns that happen to our life. What do you think the meaning is in that?
I just don't believe or think. I know
Yeah.
that God gives each of us, whatever you call it, divine spirit,
Yeah.
God gives us all what we can handle. He never gives
Yeah.
us, Mother God especially, never gives us anything that we
Yeah.
cannot handle because we
Yeah.
have that power and we're made in the image and likeness. And we got the power within us, every single one of us. So we're going to either use it or we will lose it. When I say I'm spiritual, that's what I mean. I was operating in fear a lot, and it paralyzed me
Yeah.
because and I was a procrastinator as well. Have broken out of that, but I still backslide a little. Procrastination, the other word for procrastination is fear. When we
Yes.
fear something, we procrastinate.
You freeze.
I vividly remember saying to my daughter, "I am going to dance at your wedding and I'm going to play with my grandchildren.
Mm.
And who will tell you to brush your teeth if we're not?"
Yeah, there is something super special when you have that deep knowing in those kind of statements. The thing about our intention and deepest knowing is magic.
And the other thing is that I never used to be vulnerable. I was very timid about
Yeah.
speaking about the prison thing.
Oh, of course.
Boy,
Yeah.
when I broke out of
Yeah.
that was it.
Yes. Yeah.
And both radio wise and television wise, I've been interviewed about that. And to be able to take the gift, and we are all in a prison
Of
one way or
course.
another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it didn't have to be where I was, but that we put ourselves in that prison, we keep ourselves there. When the subconscious mind knows that we don't need to be there, but to bring that
Yes.
into consciousness is a whole other
That's right.
circumstance. Prison was, yeah, it was hard, but I learned a lot. Breast cancer harder for me. Health, my life. Again, here I am now facilitating the person who doesn't like hospitals going into a
Yeah.
hospital for
That's right.
breast cancer, women going through breast cancer. And I
Yeah.
also learned when I made the pivot in 2005 from psychotherapist to alchemist coach. And this is why. That's when I learned, and I deal with the emotions and I deal with the thoughts. Incidence of breast cancer in women is because we do not nourish and nurture ourselves. Men can get breast cancer too. I've met a couple. But in women, we do not nourish or nurture ourselves. We're good with everybody else. Oh, yeah. Never say no, people pleaser.
Yeah.
That was
That's
me.
right.
I mean,
Yes.
that was me. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm breaking out of this, but it was slow. It was a
Mhm.
slow process. I mean, imagine this happened, indictment in 1998, out in 2005. It's now 2025. It's living your highest and best self is a lifestyle, and it is going within on a daily
Yep.
basis. It's an inside job. If you're waiting for someone else, like the government or your employer or your spouse or your kids or anybody in between, it's an inside job. And that power is right here. This heart space, the emotions, produce a thought, which creates our external world. That's the formula. I'm an alchemist. I know this. I said, I am an alchemist. I know how to take the good as well as the not so good.
I think that's also what people are sometimes waiting for is exactly what you and your daughter described on
Mhm.
the moment when can we just get a break? When are bad things going to stop happening to me? The answer is never. Like you're always going to, there's always, it's as soon as you get through one life challenge, you level up and then you're ready for the next one. And that's just going to keep repeating itself forever. You know, I don't think we stop leveling up. Always going
We
to be
do.
something for us to learn and grow in.
And I thank God for that.
It doesn't mean it's not painful. It doesn't mean that we're superhuman and don't feel
Mm.
at hardship. But when you're curious in the midst of hardship and you're looking for the lesson instead of fighting against whatever's happening to you, it just, you flow with life so much easier.
Yeah.
And your comment about vulnerability
Yeah.
really stuck with me. I always say with my podcast now, all of the secrets that I thought were going to unravel me my entire life, the things that I held so deep within that were
Mhm.
just rotting my insides because thought they made me bad and unlovable. And as soon as I started trusting people with love and sharing those truths, it just set me free. And now those are all the things that I talk about on all of the podcast episodes. And with each time, it emboldens me. It makes me feel more loved. To me, vulnerability is one of the strongest, if not the strongest things that we can do in this world.
Yeah. It's like the word surrender as well. It's
Yes,
not a bad
yes.
thing. Release
No,
it, let
no.
go, let God.
That's right.
You know, you
Yes.
can delegate, but you also have to listen from within.
Yes.
And it's not the source, whatever you call it, is not waiting for the proverbial lightning bolt to hit you in
Mhm.
the ass and
No,
solve
right.
everything. I love immediate gratification too, but
Of
it
course.
just doesn't happen
Yeah.
usually that way. And you will become stronger for it. I also have a picture near my mirror of my 40th birthday. And my daughter was 13, I think, 13 or 14. And she'll be 40 in September. So these, everything like happened like after I
That's right.
turned 40. And so one right after the other. And the third one was over a period of, I will say, 5 to 6 years, two divorces from women.
Okay.
Here I am in a women's federal prison camp, all together in two units, 150 and 150. When do you get a washing machine and a dryer?
Yeah.
Okay. Second, breast cancer.
Yeah.
Now we'll get to the divorce. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm one of these, oh, married for life, right? It didn't happen with my ex-husband, but we have a beautiful daughter because of that. Failed relationships along the way, I learned. And I pray that they learned what they needed to learn because we
Oh,
called each
same.
other forward. But that was a tough one. That period of 5 to 6 years, betrayal. That, no, I don't want you anymore,
Oh,
kind of
gosh.
thing.
Yeah.
Abandonment. That was harder for me than prison or breast cancer.
All experiences are just so individual. It's like other people can never understand why something that might not seem as quote serious, but to you is so deeply for whatever reason. Abandonment. What a question to your self worth, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And after that, I knew I had to take a look at, I have patterns. I was the best person as attracting narcissists into my life.
Oh
I was.
God. Oh, join my club. Yeah, we
Right?
have my girlfriends and I never. Yeah,
I'm
you
an
can be our
alcoholic,
president. That's we learned from them.
which all meant that I could do something about it. And
Yes,
that's
yeah.
when the
Of course.
brand fix your reflection first and live your best life ever was birthed. And that's what I speak about, but it's really exclusively to women. Fix
Yeah.
your reflection first.
Yeah.
If you are not practicing self-care,
That's
self-love,
that's right.
self-esteem, if you're not esteeming
That's
yourself,
right.
you're not
Yeah.
appreciating yourself,
That's
and
right.
anything in between, that's what you're calling forward into your life.
Hey, Messies. Quick pause before we dive back in. If you're loving these conversations and want a little extra support on your own becoming journey, head over to meghandawson.com. You can sign up for my weekly email. It's like a little love note from the messy middle, filled with stories, tools, and truths to help you feel less alone. And if you're looking for personalized support, I've got a few spots open for one-to-one coaching. If that's been on your heart, let's talk. All right, back to the episode. I love the idea that until you love yourself and you love being alone, you're not ready to be loved by somebody else. And find that so true. So the women that I am there to help stand beside during those tough times. It really is. And it's hard because for whatever reason, those of us with trauma backgrounds, being alone and sitting with ourselves is not an easy feat. It takes time and healing and work to be able to do that. I think it's one of the hardest things I see people have to face is themselves and eventually find love for themselves.
I mean, I think so. These that not loving myself. So here
Mm-hmm.
I am. I know I'm really good
Yeah.
at what I do, and I know
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really good from the inside out. Every morning I say, I am fit, vital, and healthy in a
Mm,
body that reflects on the outside who I
yeah.
am on the inside. When we as women can look in the mirror and say that, that's a surrender. That's like,
Yes.
that's a
Yes.
surrender. And that's like, I'm ready. Come on, bring it.
Yes. And
That's
I think it's smart to start saying it before you believe it. You don't have to believe it at
yeah,
first. That's
no,
okay.
because you won't. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. See, there you go. And
You
some
won't.
days I still don't, right?
Right.
But at the heart of me, I do. It just, some days life gets you down. But at the end of the day, the more you say that, the more it sinks in. And you do really absorb that and believe it eventually. It's
Exactly.
work though.
It's work, but it's good work.
The most important work. I think if everybody just worked on loving themselves, that would be the biggest change
Absolutely.
to good in our world as possible.
And I'm often asked that, well, how do I lead an empowered life? How
Yeah.
do I have the life I desire? What does it mean to love myself? As well, we'll start with love yourself here. Be kind and gentle to yourself. Nourish yourself. Take a bubble bath. Go get a massage. I like being outside,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
matter what the weather. I like to cook. I like to garden. I'm basically a very homebody person, but I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that about me.
Same.
How do I live
Yeah.
an empowered life? How do I do this? Rhonda, how do I do this? I said, well, I'm an alchemist. I have a formula for you.
Yeah.
And the formula is gratitude
Yeah.
plus forgiveness, beginning with yourself, is how you live the life you desire, the life
Mm.
you want to be living, perhaps the life you dream about. That's the formula.
With that formula, do you personally recommend to others a little bit of a system with that formula? So, with gratitude, we'll start with gratitude. Are you a journaler or do you verbalize your gratitude?
Journals, lots of journals.
Yeah,
The best and the biggest prayer anyone can say is thank you. Two words.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
But I'm a journaler. In the morning and in the evening, I journal. And I'm very grateful for everything that's happened to me because I'm a better person for it. I'm becoming even a better
yeah,
version of myself.
yeah,
And I also stress that, especially as a woman, selfishness is the most selfless thing we can
yes.
do.
Oh, Rhonda, I feel like I just look up to you. I feel like so many of your words just resonate so strongly, but I agree so much.
And
And I think it's partly why So many of us are so broken because we've been taught that selfish is bad. And so we spend forever avoiding doing what's best for ourselves.
One more thing regarding gratitude. Why
Yeah,
are we
please.
so good at finding what's not good and what's not right
I
with
know. And we
us
don't do
and
that
our
to other
lives?
people.
Yeah.
So why do we do it
Okay.
to us?
Why can't we just say three things we like about ourselves?
That's right.
Being
Yeah, so
grateful for
true.
you. Oh, God. My wrinkles
Yes,
are the times I laugh
that's right.
and the times
Yes.
I smile. Find something that you like about yourself and say it to
Yeah.
yourself. Look
Yeah.
in that mirror and say
Yep.
it, because when you do that,
Yep.
it will multiply like rabbits.
How about we pause? Let's just pause. Those that are listening right now, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to just reflect for a minute. Think about your three things. Feel that gratitude right now. Pause and think for yourself. Maybe take in some deep breaths as you do that. And we'll come back together in a second, but just take a few more deep breaths. Close out your thought. Maybe bring that to your bedtime routine tonight.
That was
It just feels like a hug for yourself. Doesn't that feel good?
very good. That was and
Maybe.
that was perfect, Megan.
Oh,
Perfect.
hey, it just made me a little teary. Like it just felt so good. So thank you for that, Rhonda.
Now,
You're
I want
welcome.
to finish the formula.
Yeah, please.
Well, how am I going to live the life I desire?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, we've got the gratitude thing down. They're
yeah.
grateful.
Yes,
My suggestion is that you do it more,
yes. Yep,
even if you don't write like I do. Do it
that's
more.
right. Yep.
The second piece of that formula is forgiveness.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
forgiveness word, okay, forgiveness.
Yes.
Well, I have an exercise for those who choose to do it. You don't have to do it now, but think about this. It's very powerful. Take out a piece of paper. Never mind the phone, the computer, because most people learn visually when they write. 95% of the world learns visually. I want you to learn this. I want you to write a letter. You don't have to mail the letter. You just start with a letter.
Whew. Yeah.
First to yourself. And it
Yeah.
probably might go something like this. I'll use myself. Dear Rhonda, I've been meaning to write to you for some time. First of all, how are you? Rhonda, when you messed up and you ended up in prison and then had breast cancer and then divorce, all that financial ruin. I'm going to throw that one in there. I know you didn't mean to hurt me, Rhonda. I forgive you. Thank you, Rhonda. I love you. Sign your name. Next letter. For anyone believes, knows, thinks someone has harmed you, I want you to write a letter. Dear so and so, dear, dear person, I've been meaning to write to you for some time. First, how are you? Person, when you abandoned me, I know that you did not mean to hurt me.
Yeah.
I forgive you. Thank you for being in my life.
Feels good.
Feels good.
I agree with your formula. I now have the list of my people that I've forgiven, and I just send them love from afar. That's my phrase, love from
Yeah,
afar. I love a decent amount of people from afar because, and not all of them hurt me so bad, but they're just, yeah, they just bring me down in certain ways, and just their energy is not meant to be in my vicinity. I wish them so much joy, and I send them love from afar, and I include them in my meditation. It just feels good.
feels good.
Good.
Because, non-forgiveness, it doesn't have non-forgiveness is it's like taking the poison yourself and hoping the other person will die. It just
Oh,
doesn't
it
happen.
is.
Who
That's
said who
right.
said that? It might have been Albert Einstein. and doing the same thing over and over the same way, but expecting different results.
Yep, that's
You're
right.
not fooling yourself. It causes ill being within you, not well being. Remember that.
Yes. Oh,
Forgiveness
very
is
much.
for us here.
That's
It's
right. Oh,
really
very
not.
much.
It's not.
Yes.
So,
No.
get off your soapbox about that. You said something very important. Let me see what it was. You said a lot of things that are very important in your comments and in your questions. It will come to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious just with your clients. Yeah. We talked earlier about how powerful it's been for us to own our own stories.
Yes.
And I'm curious as you guide your clients inward and they do have to take a look at their role in some of their hurting, how do you help them tackle that? Or is there a process that, or a mantra, or just something that you do specifically, or is it client by client?
It's not cookie cutter. And I have another group coaching program starting soon because I believe we learn from each other. The thing about, I can tell, first of all, I got plenty of credentials. My biggest credential is life. When I can be vulnerable and I can say, I hear you, I feel that, and the power of my story will give them permission to feel and be heard.
Yes,
The power of my story will do that.
that's right.
And not vulnerable, I'm not doing my job here. And
That's right.
I am not doing my job on this earth. And there was plenty of messes that I could have done myself in with, but I'm meant to be here. So when I relay something like that, it's not everyone that takes a program with me or that becomes a client. It's not everyone that resonates with me. When I'm speaking to an audience, some won't resonate when they listen to this. You've called me the real deal. You
Yeah,
hold me up to the light, you're going to see what you get.
that's
And I'm
right. Yeah.
very frank with people.
Same, same. I
I'm very
agree.
blunt too with
Yes,
people.
I use that too.
Yeah,
And I would say that the people I love from afar, there's also some people in there that I've chosen not to walk on their path anymore. And a common one is just the people that aren't willing to ever look inward, that they're just in a cycle of constantly being a victim of circumstance. And I do wish them the ability to get out of that cycle, but there just comes a point when, to me, when I watch people harming themselves and others and never taking some personal responsibility to look inward and find love for themselves, I feel like that's an example that I struggle with and have to create some boundaries eventually.
well, Megan, the important thing that I now remember that I wanted to say, because you said it again,
Yeah.
this is how important it is for people to hear this.
Yeah.
As we go within more and more, understand that as we grow, we evolve, we cry, we laugh, we move forward to be the best version of ourselves, we're going to shed some people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're either going to ask them to leave our life or they're just going to fall off.
Agree.
That's okay. I'm a very private person. So for me to be hosting a show I host and for me to be a guest on television and radio and
Yeah.
talking this way is, I'm growing and I'm evolving still. I'm going to keep doing that because I
That's
like
right.
the way I feel. And the people that I attract to me are the same people. I don't need a whole bunch of people around me. I once told my daughter, and I believe it for myself, if you can count your true friends on half a hand, you are very fortunate. You are very blessed. You got it made.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Rhonda, can I just say, I feel like I sense your spirituality in this conversation because with every comment or question that you touch on, it's either in the script as my next question or it's just like you're reading my mind. I feel like I just resonate so strongly with each of your words. And that was one that I was thinking of as we were talking about paring down the people in our lives. The older I get, my circle gets that much smaller, yet the people in that circle is just the most beautiful, loving, non-judgmental People that will hold space in the hardest of circumstances and just let me be. It's just a very special circle to have.
Yeah.
And the quantity of it just doesn't matter to me anymore.
It doesn't. It's like, no, it's okay.
That's
Because
right. Yeah.
each of us is only one person.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, I feel like when you were talking about breast cancer and nutrition and just the things that you put into your body playing a part of that, to me, everything just bubbles down to energy
yes,
and seeking energy that lifts us up and lights us up through our food, through nature, through the people in our life. All of that just matters. And you can either choose things that bring you down or you can choose things that help you continue to evolve to your highest self. And
yes.
people are a part of that.
People, yes. Who once said that? The five people you surround
Oh,
yourself
yeah,
with.
yeah,
That's what you're attracting to yourself. I don't watch the news.
yeah. Not anymore.
I don't do it.
Nope. I have one singular place that is as unbiased as I can find these days and is factual. And I don't bother reading the hateful comments. I just try to find just a summary of some facts. But I certainly filter out any of the noise because I just don't need it. Doesn't feel good to bring that into my life. So it's not worth it to me.
I agree.
I have a little section called Rapid Reel, which is just quick questions,
Okay.
overthink. I have a few of those for you.
It's fine. Go ahead.
What's one small daily ritual that helps you to feel grounded?
My running now, because during
Yes.
that period of time, I always do it alone.
Yeah.
I'm out in nature. I affirm, I pray.
Yeah.
Then I
That's
get up
good.
in the morning, I do my gratitudes, and I look in the mirror.
Yep.
I start with me, and then I have my parents who have made their transition, pictures, my daughter, my whole family. I also light sage every morning and every evening.
Every
Every
routine.
morning and every
Oh,
evening, and I go around and do a clearing, do a cleansing for everyone, as well as myself.
yes. Oh, very nice. I love your routine, especially the sage. I've done sage smudges with groups with girlfriends after different breakups,
Yeah,
apartments. It's always been a very special moment kind of thing.
yeah,
We just love that, like a special way to bring some peace to your day.
yes.
Is there a book that cracked you open?
There are probably several
Okay.
books.
All right. Is there one that comes to mind that just stood out on your journey?
Well, Marianne Williamson, The Course in Miracles, that's
Yes.
one
Oh,
book.
good.
Because The Course in Miracles, I know for a fact, either you believe and know that everything's a miracle or nothing. You're a
Yeah.
miracle here. The
Yes.
people, we called each other forward to have this conversation
I agree with that. Yep.
because
And
it
I do
needs
have Course of Miracles sitting behind me here.
really.
However, I have never gotten through it fully. But then Marianne Williamson helped me, at
Yeah.
least get a little bit of a summary and cliff notes and her perspective of it, which is
Oh
just
yes.
beautiful.
So that I would say that,
A good one.
and anything by Louise Hay.
Oh, yes. Oh, Hay
You can
too is
heal your
definitely
life.
one of mine.
The six right there
Yes.
by
Yep. I
Louise
have a
Hay.
couple of Louise Hay up there too somewhere. But yeah. There's something that you wish more women knew about themselves.
That they are whole, perfect, and complete,
Yes.
just the way they are. I got a nick in
Yeah.
my right breast from
Yeah.
that whole breast cancer emergency.
Yeah.
I'm still whole.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's so true. You're
I
who
know,
you're
I
meant to
know
be.
I'm who I meant to be. And
Yep.
I think if women understood that, I also
Yeah.
definitely believe that the things I've been through in my life, events and situations, circumstances that had women in them,
Yeah.
I was meant to learn what I need to learn to help others, know that they can help
Yes.
themselves.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I just was at a women's retreat last week and
And
somebody the quote, you crave what you create. Your gift to the world is essentially what you needed first.
right, you need it
Yeah,
first.
that's so true. Yeah. Yep. And so then you learn it and then you share it. Is there something on your vision board or however you plan for the future to manifest that at one point you thought was wild, but now you're feeling is possible?
That my life is getting better in all
Mm-hmm.
ways,
Oh, gosh.
beginning on the inside. And
Yeah.
my biggest manifestation now is that I will be on the Connecticut shoreline with my family. My whole family's in
Yes.
Connecticut.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's a wonderful
And
vision.
that's all there is to it. It's
Yes.
all in
Yeah.
divine right timing.
You can taste that salt water.
You
And
can
yes,
see
what is one thing that your younger self would be so proud of you right now?
that I made it through, and I'm not just living to tell about it. I'm
Mm.
articulating it just the way I'm
Yes.
articulating it so that I can come across as the real
Yes.
deal, to know and
Yes.
to support others in helping them help themselves.
That's right. Could you even imagine you before you surrendered in prison? That you thinking that you someday would be out sharing that story and what you learned from it and how it was something positive on your journey. I love that. That's my reason for starting this show, is because I always say that in society we celebrate overcoming stories. We celebrate the underdog, we celebrate the beginning and then how high somebody rose. But yet we so struggle to talk about the middle, struggle to talk about the mess it took to get out of that rock bottom and get to where you are today. So I'm so
Absolutely.
appreciative of you being with us.
My
I do
pleasure.
have one final question, but before I get there, I'm curious, how can folks connect with you? What are you working on right now? Just anything else that you wanted to share from the work that you're doing with other people.
First of all, I welcome questions, I welcome comments. My email address is Rhonda, RHONDA, at helpmerhonda.now.com. You must put the now or it will go
Yes.
somewhere else. Okay.
And
And
try not to hum the song there,
right.
because I've emailed you, Rhonda, and every time I do, I'm smiling because I'm singing that song in my
Sing
head.
that song. That's right.
Yes.
That's the
Oh,
intro and outro to my show as well.
yeah, of course. Perfect.
I'm beginning another group coaching program. I will take 15 in the program. I will get you a link
Great. Yes,
for
I will
that.
include all of that in the podcast description page. Put all
Yes.
that on there.
And the name of the coaching program is, of course, called Fix Your Reflection First and Live Your Best Life Ever.
Yes.
And I will
Perfect.
show you how. It's your choice to do it.
Oh, fantastic. One final question. Some listeners might be in their rock bottom moment right now. And I'm wondering what piece of advice when you were in that moment you wish would have come sooner?
I'm happy to let
Mm.
you in on that. This is so heartfelt. And I'm glad we're leaving listeners with this. First of all, understand you are never alone, ever. No matter what
Yeah.
you're going through, situations, circumstances, events in your life, those atrocities, the adversity, the challenge, the struggle, and anything in between, that what I call not so good stuff, you are never alone. Whatever tunnel you happen to be traveling down these days, that light at the end of the tunnel is not a train. It's the way, it's the hope, it's the guidance. If you choose to move forward more mindfully and be the best version of yourself, if you choose. And one other thing, whatever it is that you are going through, I will confide something that I practice every day because I'm not immune to adversity, struggle, and challenge. Whatever it is that you're going through, treat life as if it were ice cream and enjoy it before it melts.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. I'm going out to dinner with the family tonight. We might have to symbolically get some ice cream and just think about
Absolutely.
that. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. I so appreciate your story and your wisdom and really enjoyed our time together. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you, Meghann. I enjoyed our time very much.
Thank you. Before we wrap today, I want to invite you to be part of the Becoming is Messy community. Subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And if there's anything that resonates with you, please leave a review. Your feedback means the world to me, and it helps other people find this community. Follow me on social media. I'd love to hear your ideas for future topics, your questions, and stories from your own messy moments. And if you're feeling inspired, check out the Becoming is Messy shop, where you can grab a mug, a t-shirt, or something else that reminds you to embrace your messy magic every single day. A huge thank you to the incredible Wolves and Sheep for providing the music for Becoming is Messy. Check them out on your favorite music streaming platform. As we close out today's episode, remember this: messy is just another word for growing. So keep showing up, keep laughing, and keep making beautifully awkward progress. Until next time, stay messy, my friends.